And that's not just this past weekend. It's also going back over the past couple years. It seems like that's a part of his game that's been lost. I think, number one, there's a hesitancy and a lack of confidence. He's got a receiver over the middle of the field. Coop's going to win. Let the ball go now. He's wide open. But holding on to the football early in the game, that's a sack. Elijah Moore crossing the middle of the field. This is wide open in the NFL. It looks like he pulls the string, like he's guiding the football here. That forces the ball to dive down an incomplete pass. They're going to get a slot blitz. This is Amari Cooper on a slant. It's perfect. Might be 20, 25 yards if he throws the ball in his chest. He misses it by a good yard. There's going to be a clip down in the red zone. The back goes to the flat. I would have worked down to the boundary. He doesn't. He goes up top. Look where this ball lands. And that's 6 or 7 yards out of bounds. It's not even an opportunity, nor deciding to try and go make a play. I think the head coach and play caller, Kevin Stefanski, is elite in his system. And I don't think he believes he can run his system with where Deshaun Watson is right now. I think there's a crisis in Cleveland because the quarterback is struggling to be accurate with the football.
Okay, put a pin in that for just a moment because we do want to show you Robert Saleh right now, the Jets head coach. He's been doing this where he runs the stairs pregame since 2005 when he was with the Houston Texans. He's walking right now, but he starts to go a little faster as he warms up. And Marcus is going to go join him in just a little bit in his suit. That's what Swagoo told us. But
he's going to die. Look like Xerxes off of 300.
Oh, man.
There he is.
There he goes. There he goes.
There he is.
We had to show you that as we're just over 3 hours to kick off of Monday Night Football between the Jets and 49ers. But, Mina, let's pick it back up. Yeah. Dan, you heard what he said, the crisis in Cleveland. What do you think?
Yeah, I put myself in the minds of the play callers, Kevin Stefanski, and I think, what can you hang your hat on, right? Because the job number one is to figure out what your quarterback does well and then build an offense off of that. We saw him do that with Joe Flacco. This game, you saw them try different things with Watson. Let's put him in empty. Let's put him in the gun. Let's move the pocket. Let's try a bunch of different concepts. And it just didn't feel like they ever landed on something that he excelled in, that he was competent in. Frankly, would contrast that with the Steelers, who we didn't really talk about in great length. Justin Fields is a flawed quarterback. But he has qualities that you can build an offense around, and you saw that with Arthur Smith. Oh, his mobility. He's still an incredible scrambler, design run game, and some deep shots because he has good arm.
Yeah. I
don't feel like, RC, there are things you can point to with Deshaun Watson at this point in his career that you can build an offense off of.
What I love is that Mina talked about the effort of Kevin Stefanski, the play caller, to say, we're going to try to figure out something you can do well. Deshaun Watson also put in a lot of effort, which is what scares me because maybe he just can't do it anymore. Deshaun Watson, even though he was under pressure, even though Mike Zimmer's defense played extremely well, I've seen him at his best play great on a bad football team. To miss the sorts of throws that he's missing, to not be able to find ways to create second play opportunities for your players, that was the reason GM Andrew Berry went out and got him. And so now, if I'm sitting in that locker room or I'm a head coach, I'm remembering what it looked like down the stretch with Joe Flacco, who was trying out for inside the NFL during the preseason last year. There is a crisis in Cleveland, and the crisis may be you're stuck with a contract with a quarterback who is no longer who you acquired. And that's the biggest problem on a team that's championship caliber.
Going to be fascinating to see how they work it all out. It's worth pointing out that the pieces around him are so good and the defense is so talented. There's a window there that they have to figure out how they can capitalize on. Whoa. All right, Marcus, treasure. All-time classic. That was Marcus busting up the Kansas City barbecue last season. All right. So I asked you, Swagoo, give us a guy who ate on Sunday.
That's good, y'all. I haven't seen that the first time. Micah Parsons, man. Yeah. Micah Parsons was a menace against the Cleveland Browns and that offensive line. You talk about the tackles missing. He did it from the outside, but he also did it with interior pressure as well. You see the tip pass here for an interception. He was the guy, to me, that they had to account for, like we talked about. Dallas had a plan for Myles Garrett. The Cleveland Browns had no plan for Micah Parsons. And Zimmer did a phenomenal job with getting him in position to make plays. He bust that stuff up.
I'm going back to Friday. Could you imagine being the Giants today after watching what happened with their football team yesterday and watching what this cat did? Friday night, 109 yards rushing, 23 receiving, 3 touchdowns. You saw speed, power, jump cuts, physical, matchup problem. Saquon Barkley was everything.
And Saquon Barkley would have been getting toe up in New York, too, with Daniel Jones. It don't dang matter. I'm going with Joe Mixon, though. Joe Mixon was getting off so much against the Indianapolis Colts, he took his gloves off. He went Larry Zonka. He went to the late, great Jim Brown. He doesn't need all the fancy amenities of 2024, because when you can run the ball 30 times, 159 yards, and get in the zone, you bust that up.
You know how long I and Dan Orlowski have been waiting for this moment. The Sympathizers! That's what I'm calling us now. We are back because Sam Darnold, finally in a good situation, thrived against the New York Giants defense. No. And it wasn't all easy. Dexter Lawrence was in his face. By the way, he could have been in this segment too. He was amazing. 43% pressure rate. But oh my goodness, that corner route to Justin Jefferson, that was one of the best throws I saw all day. And we saw that arm talent that's kept us hanging on.
And if anything we learned in week 1, Kevin O'Connell must be a G.
Yo, he's
because
good.
The way Kirk Cousins looked to the way Sam Darnold looked, it was a big difference.
Kevin O'Connell was busting it up.
Yes, KOC is very good.
Boogie, you stupid.
I can't with this. All right, let's get to the Bills and Cardinals. Yeah, Allen accounted for all 4 of the Bills' touchdowns in their comeback win over the Cardinals, throwing 2 touchdowns, rushing for 2 more. It's Allen's 4th career game with multiple passing touchdowns and multiple rushing touchdowns, tying Hall of Famer Steve Young for the most in NFL history. Here's the thing, though. Is this model, Marcus, sustainable for the Bills? Because it was fun, but is it going to last?
Only because of injury concern.
Yeah.
Like, offensively, Josh Allen can do that week in and week out. We've seen it throughout his career. They did mix it up. They ran the football. He got the ball out to multiple guys, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman. He got it to his tight ends. But this is my issue, right? Like, when he has to turn into Superman, at times it's like, just please be okay. Because we know the ramifications of losing Josh Allen if you're the Buffalo Bills. And to RC, the thing that I was thinking about, MK, this defense ain't the same. Like personnel-wise, this defense ain't the same. So if it's not the same and you're going to be asking Josh Allen to go Superman mode, it's just the risk-reward thing. Like, if you're telling me he can sustain for a season, Josh, go out and do your thing. But I just don't believe it's possible for the rest of the world.
One thing really fast, Sean McDermott said today that Taron Johnson, he's been ruled out for Thursday's game against the Dolphins.
No worries, it's just Miami.
Yeah.
Right, they think about that, though. He's one of the best slot corners in the entire league. You already lose Matt Milano, and Jordan Poyer and Michael Hyde, who formed one of the best safety duos in the entire league, are no longer there. And so it's going to take some of this Josh going sicko mode in order to win games. But what I did see is they have enough for a pass game, and Joe Brady implementing the run first, you back for holding, and then they came back with a zone read the next time, and he made it to the pylon. Josh Allen is showing that he's one of the better athletes in this entire league, but one of the best quarterbacks and playmakers, and they're going to have to continue to play to his strengths.
Yeah, in the past, though, it's been like that button that they smash, in case of emergency, quarterback draw. Josh Allen, go get us 8 yards. And to have that week 1, I don't know, it doesn't feel great. I will say, I do want to go back to the defense for a second. You're right, they're not as good. However, the one thing that I said during this offseason that needed to happen for the defense to at least hold serve is they needed someone to emerge on that front.
Gregory Rousseau.
That's who I was going to talk about. And you know what strikes me watching him? He's not just an edge rusher. He is a defensive end.
Yes.
He is so complete as a football player, both against the run, in coverage, by the way, in this game. You saw him. And then getting after the quarterback, was outstanding. I feel like if he takes that leap and becomes the superstar I actually believe he is capable of being, that will help compensate for some of the deficiencies on the back end.
And you know what was cool, too, Marcus, and you know this better than anyone. Coach LeBeau used to always tell us in Fire Zone, we're not scheming to get you wide open lanes. We're scheming to get the best players in one-on-one matchups. And Greg Rousseau won those yesterday.
And I think about that because when y'all were talking, my only issue is you got the Jets and the Patriots twice a year.
Yeah.
Right? With those physical defenses and Miami as well. I'm just worried about sustainability.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about if he can make it happen week in and week out. We know he can. It's just the sustainability over 17, 18 weeks, man.
Josh Allen moved from 10-1 to plus 550 to win MVP at ESPN Bet. He's now the second favorite behind Patrick Mahomes.
You know why? Because